there, you're watching Tab and Blakey's trip from Hobart to Flinders Island aboard our Simpson Winwood called Pelican. We've owned her for about 4 years and we've recently upgraded all our electronics, outboards and sails to start travelling further afield and experience more of what Tasmania has to offer. We hope you enjoy watching our video. So we woke up the next morning in Bennelong Bay after seeing the amazing whale from the night before. And while it looked okay in the anchorage, I decided to have a look at the weather and see whether or not we could make our way towards Flinders Island. It was pretty apparent after looking at the weather model that the weather was increasing from the east and was pretty bad up around near Flinders Island, red being bad. Bells were going off and the last thing I wanted to do was make someone sick on board. So we decided that we were going to have to wait it out in St Helens for a few days until the weather gave us a more favourable path towards Flinders Island. After a couple of days, weather was really starting to pin us down. We couldn't really do much, so we jumped off the boat. We borrowed a car off some friends we know, Andrew and Legsy in St Helens. It was amazing. We went into town, had a lovely dinner, and it was really nice to have a refreshing shower and stuff like that, and then go jump back on the boat and use this opportunity to ring some people, and spoke to a local fisherman who suggested that we might change anchorage and we might get a better night's sleep. So I spoke to Jack Tatnell, Kerry Tatnell, who fished this area a bit, and suggested to move out of Bennelong Bay and go around to Skeleton Point because we're having trouble sleeping at night due to the swell rolling around the point from Longtree. So we did that and we sat there and it was quite comfortable actually. It was much better, but during the night I was just struggling. I was close to the rocks, the swell was pushing us along the shoreline, and the wind wasn't strong enough to hold us off the shore there, and it got the better of me. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning and we motored back around into Bennelong Point and laid there for the rest of the night. Morning, family.
Morning. Miss you all. Love you.
Finally we have a lovely day. Tabitha's in a dress.
Hello.
Putting sunscreen on for the first time.
Yes, it's only probably about 12 degrees, but it's the sun's out, so like sun's out, guns out, sun's out, dresses out.
So we moved back around into Billabong Bay last night because the sloppy stuff around the point was annoying me. It wasn't much better here, to be honest. Actually, it could have been worse, but then it got better as the night went on. But it's a beautiful morning. Planning to leave here at about 11 o'clock. Head towards Ediston Point and get the low tide point for the change at 2 o'clock to ride the tide. It's either Clark Island or Babel Island. We'll make that decision when we get closer. It is a beautiful morning. No whales this morning, darling.
No,
It's a bit rude, isn't it?
bloody hell.
So, eating breakfast on the go. Hot water still playing up on the boat, which is annoying me, so I'm boiling a bit of water so I can have a shave. And cooking scrambled eggs and bacon for breakfast. So, getting breakfast underway. And here, too hot now, you reckon?
Well, I think because I haven't had any sun for ages and just the black of the tractor and it's like, it's burning. Not complaining at all.
It is beautiful, considering what time of the morning it is.
Yeah, it's like really only 7:30 in daylight saving time.
Tucking into some yummy fresh eggs.
Very yum. Bacon, scrambled eggs and bacon, breakfast of champions.
Can't get it wrong. So again, speaking to fishermen, Kent Way this time and Bruce Filmingham, really did advise us not to go against the tide. So we left to St Helens about 11 o'clock to time going past Ediston Point at about 2 o'clock on the change of tide, so we could run through the gap between Tasmania and Clark Island with the tide going with us. So this was the route that we'd planned to take. Probably the best day we've had on the water so far, even though there's a bit of swell. Just motor sailing at low revs, just not enough wind. It's only 5 knots breeze. We're sitting around 5-6 knots ish. Cruising along, heading up to Ediston Point at the moment. Trying to get there for a tide change between 1 and 2 o'clock. So back down that way, St Helens Bar way. And there, Binalong Bay. Up the coast. I know that you can actually see, you can see Ediston now. Perhaps enjoying the sun, having a cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee, yes, morning tea, coffee. Very pleasant, much different experience than the other day. So, the trip from Wineglass to Billabong, how's it been for you?
It's going to be calmer. The boat's handling it really well. But it's sick of it rolling around.
I don't even mind this little bit of swell. It's quite nice the way that we're going with it. So we've got the ocean to ourselves.
There is. There was another boat in our anchorage last night. He left early. I reckon he was heading south. Go pick up his sails, I reckon. It got ripped.
Say where we were heading?
Hey?
Say where we were heading?
Yeah, Ediston. Beautiful day out here, guys. St Helens back that way. Ediston Point that way. Tabitha having a cup of coffee. Just coming up on Ediston Point now. Make a course change in a minute once we get past these reefs. Slowed the boat down. Don't want to get here too early. It's supposed to be a tide change between 1 and 2. It's just turned 1 o'clock, so good timing. How you going over there?
Hold on.
We've seen 2 whales today,
Yeah.
a couple of seals. Beautiful day. So I believe those 2 lumps are right over there. You can see them on the phone. Babel Island anyway. We're heading that way. Beautiful looking beach. All the way back. Can hardly even see where we left this morning. So we left in the morning from Binalong Bay and we headed up to Ediston Point before we turned further northwest to head through the gap past George's Rocks here, which actually was quite pretty. Would like better weather, maybe spend a bit more time, look around there. It was very pretty. Headed up and sort of time was getting a bit against us. We didn't think we'd want to go too far for the night, and so we came round these rocks here and ended up in this bay called Spiky Bay. I'm pretty sure Spiky Bay, which had been advised by a couple of fishermen this was a good spot to anchor as well. And it actually was a beautiful anchorage, and we had an amazing night's sleep there, and couldn't recommend the lay there any better.